You know, it's one of the great paradoxes in the Quran. We're talking about Surah Al-Kawthar. It is one of the shortest chapters, just a few lines, but its name literally means abundance. So how on earth does that work? How can so much be packed into so little? Well, today we're going to dive in and try to uncover the secrets hidden inside these powerful verses. Everything, and I mean everything, kicks off with this single powerful line. It's a direct message from God to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And it's not just a statement, it's a promise, a declaration of this incredible gift. And this isn't just any gift, it's Al-Kawthar. But what does that word really mean?
So Al-Kawthar, it translates to this idea of abundant, overflowing, just inexhaustible goodness. The best way to picture it is like a river or a fountain of blessings that just never, ever runs dry. It really covers every good thing you can imagine, both in this life and the one to come. This one word, it's the key to the entire chapter.
All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. We're going to look at what this abundance means for us right now, the rewards it promises in the next life, and then we'll get to the single key that unlocks the whole thing. So let's start with the central puzzle. See, this chapter was revealed when the prophet was facing some really nasty mockery from his enemies. They were taunting him for not having any male heirs, calling him Abtar, which basically means cut off. And God's response? It wasn't some long defensive argument. It was short, powerful, and a promise of the exact opposite, total abundance. And that just begs the question, right? What is the secret to this chapter's incredible power? How does it manage to completely flip a moment of apparent loss into this promise of ultimate, lasting victory? Well, let's find out. But here's the thing. These blessings aren't just something you have to wait for in the afterlife. The promise of Al-Kawthar actually comes with some very specific, tangible benefits for us, right here and now. And what's really striking is just how practical these benefits are. It's said that if you recite it consistently, it offers protection from the plots of your enemies, kind of like it did for the prophet himself. It's also meant to strengthen that love for the prophet and his family in your heart, which, is a huge goal for believers. And finally, it can open the door to a truly profound spiritual experience. And get this, for anyone who really yearns to see the prophet in a dream, there's even a specific method described. It involves reciting the chapter 100 times all in one go without any interruptions. Of course, you need to be in a state of purity and, most importantly, have a sincere intention. You're not doing it for show, but for a moment of real guidance and connection. Okay, so beyond all the benefits in this world, the promises for the hereafter are, well, they're even more profound. This is where that whole concept of abundance really just explodes into its eternal meaning. The rewards are basically threefold. First, the incredible honor of drinking from the actual fountain of Kawthar on the day of resurrection. Second, being in the close company of the prophet himself. And third, and this one is just almost impossible to imagine, you can earn a reward that's equivalent to every single sacrifice ever offered to God throughout all of history. I mean, the scale of that is just staggering. And this little breakdown really shows you the depth of that honor. The narration says the prophet will be your muhaddith. He's the one speaking to you. You will be the muhaddith, the one being spoken to. So this isn't just about being in the same general area. We're talking about a personal, direct conversation and honor from the greatest of creation. That is a truly special station reserved for those who hold this chapter close. And this promise is really hammered home by figures like Imam as-Sadiq. He confirmed that just making this chapter a consistent part of your daily prayers is the very thing that secures this ultimate reward. It's that simple and that profound. Okay, so we've talked about all these incredible rewards, but how do we even begin to wrap our heads around their value? I mean, how do you quantify that? Well, this next part tries to give us a little glimpse into the immeasurable spiritual weight of the surah. I want you to just look at this number for a second. Just the number 4. It seems so simple, right? But it is connected to one of the most astonishing things ever said about the power of this chapter. Unbelievable, isn't it? According to one narration, reciting this tiny, tiny chapter just 4 times is said to hold the same spiritual weight as completing the entire Quran. Just let that sink in for a moment. And if that is still kind of hard to grasp, think about this powerful analogy. If you try to write down all the virtues, all the blessings of this single chapter, all the camels from the east to the west couldn't even carry the books. It's just a beautiful way of saying its true worth is beyond our human ability to comprehend. So, we have worldly benefits, heavenly rewards, and this immeasurable value. But what unlocks it all? What's the secret? Well, there's a foundational key that makes all of this possible, and honestly, it's been hidden in plain sight the whole time. The key is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Every single action, every single blessing has to start with this intention, because without it, the very nature of the gift itself can totally change. And this is where it all becomes so incredibly practical. I mean, think about it. Wealth, when you receive it with gratitude to God, is a blessing. But without that connection, it can so easily turn into arrogance. Children can be an absolute joy, but they can also become a trial that pulls you away from God. Knowledge is a light, but without humility, it just becomes a source of pride and ego. So ultimately, the Bismillah acts like a spiritual filter. It's the intention that ensures a divine gift stays a true blessing and prevents it from turning into a trial that leads us down the wrong path. It connects the gift back to the giver, and that connection, that is the absolute heart of abundance. Which, brings us right back to our original question. Surah Al-Kawthar is almost like a mirror of the divine nature itself, a whole ocean of generosity held inside a single drop of revelation. It leaves us with this final thought to really ponder. How can such infinite meaning, such an abundant promise, be held within just a few finite words?